for the professional, particularly professional development of teachers through, in collaboration with various schools and local government bodies. So for today's session, I think this will be very, very important for all of us to see these dimensions of SDGs. So we would like to welcome Abhilasha Singh, ma'am, for this presentation. And yes, that's it. So let's begin let's begin the presentation. Over to you, Ramji.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And this is our pleasure to have Abhilasha Singh within us. She is going to speak about the why SDG is important for school education. She is from Abu Dhabi, and she is a principal of this school, this Shining Star International School there. So, without delay, without further ado, please join us to welcome Abhilasha Singh and to her presentation and sharing within us. So, welcome, ma'am, and please, this is for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Maniram. And thank you, Balchandra sir, for a nice and a warm welcome. I am in India at present on my summer vacation. And though I work in Abu Dhabi and I'll be going back on the 13th, I'm not looking forward to that. Schools are reopening on 14th for us. But here I am, and I eat, pray, love SDGs. So anytime anybody says SDGs, and I'm there. So here I am for you. So it's an honor and a privilege to be addressing everyone here who are committed educationists, because if you're sacrificing your early morning Saturday for a professional development, you are super committed to the cause. So thank you so much for being you. What I'll do is now I'll request for sharing rights. So I'll share my screen. I can't see the share button at the moment. Yeah, I can see that. So I'll share my screen, and we'll go fast forward because time is less. And also, I was thinking about that because I'm in the hills at the moment, and it's raining and there's a little disruption. In case there is electricity disruption, I'll come back. I'll request you all to wait a few minutes for me to join back. And on Google Meet, what happens is that you're in a blind alley. Um, you're absolutely in the blind alley if you're not sharing their entire screen. And I like working with teams, not very good with okay, I'll go here. So just as a question, everybody can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
All right.
Yes, it can be seen. You can click on this, open book. There is an icon down there toward the right. If you go down, if you put your cursor, this open book is helpful than this making full screen. So this open book icon down there on your slide, if you go to your slide, yeah,
My Oh yeah, I can see that.
yeah, yeah, that one, yes, yes, if you click on that, yes, now it's better.
All
Now
right.
you can start you.
Okay. So this was my first slide. So, and also some housekeeping rules to begin with. Please keep your mics muted. Anybody has a question? I'll not be able to see your hand if you raise a hand, but you can let me know that you have a question. I'll stop on the slide, and then we can, or I've got a separate question and answer round at the end. So you can all hold on to your questions, and we can tackle all of that together. And just keep your mics muted. Some of you are, it's very early morning, some of you might be in bed at moment, but keep your cameras off as well. So here we go. Today what we are doing is, today is a wonderful example of goal 17, partnership for the goals. And this is a collaboration to understand why SDGs are important and how they can make an impact. This is me. I don't think you need to know more because Mr. Maniram has given me a nice introduction. So what we're going today is a little brief about the SDGs, which I'm sure everybody already knows. We understand why SDGs should be taught at school. I'm going to share two QR codes with all of you. You can capture that with your mobile phones, and these will take you to two separate folders where I put some reading material for everyone. And this reading material is super comprehensive, and you will like going through it, and it will also help you to understand better about global citizenship, student competencies, expected competencies, and of course about SDGs. And there are some lesson plans, and especially for goal number 4, like sir mentioned, goal 4.7, nobody to be left behind. So these kind of resources you'll find on these QR code files. And then we can also look at some examples of integrating SDGs in the curriculum, and some common challenges which we can tackle together. I can also learn. I mean, I always learn from my students, and I learn from my colleagues. So today we'll have a nice learning experience as well. This is a beautiful picture, lovely colors, and we all know that these are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Now, to understand a little more about sustainable development, we all understand that there are three dimensions to sustainable development: economic, social, and environmental. And we also understand the definition of SDGs, which is to sustainable development is defined as development to meet the needs of the present generation without compromising the needs of the future generation. So I love this quote. This is a Native American quote, and I really, really want to. The whole world should imbibe this as a way of life. That we do not inherit our earth from our ancestors; we borrow it from our children. So with this thought and with this, the process, if we go ahead and we harmonize the three core elements of economic growth, of society, and of environmental protection, we can't go wrong. But the point is that we are going wrong. I mean, we are way behind the schedule of Agenda 2030, that by 2030 the 17 sustainable development goals have to be accomplished. Now, there's another way of looking at SDGs. These are the 5 Ps of sustainable development: planet, people, prosperity, peace, partnership. These are intertwined, not one in isolation from the other. And these 5 Ps become extremely important to understand why SDGs are important and how they can be achieved. If any questions at this point, please save. I'll come back to this later. And now the question of the day: why SDGs are to be taught at school? So if you look to your, to my right and to your left, the inter cross-cutting, like sir said, and also intertwined 3 dimensions of sustainable development: society, environment, and economics. SDGs are universal. They are indivisible. You can see that from the diagram, and they are transformative. They change lives. They make world a better place. They help in people not going to bed hungry, people having equitable right to jobs, to uniform pay and things like that. I mean, these are of course European ideas, but then I mean that's what the SDGs are for, to make this world a better place. So they are universal. They affect uh, the entire world. So the goals and the targets are not just for the developing world, though the developing world carry the main burden, but it is for the global north and a global south together. And they are integrated and they are indivisible. They balance the 3 dimensions of sustainable development. So therefore it's important, and I believe that schools are the grassroots of society, and it is here that the future of the foundation of the future is laid, for individual also and for the world also. So it's important that we teach our children the importance and integrate the education for sustainable development in the curriculum. I'm sorry, there's a little noise in the background. These are the 17 sustainable development goals, and I'm not going to go through this because this is available on the net. You can go through it again yourself. What are the targets? We've got 17 goals, 169 targets, 306 national indicators for each country. And how are we going to achieve it? With innovation and technology. We need to lay out a path for the people and the planet with our students. And we also need to use the collective power to change the world. Each one, solidarity network, each one, teach one. I'm from a land of Gandhi, so I love this quote. Here are something that I wanted to tell you personally about how I got into SDGs. Dr. Jennifer Williams is my inspiration. She's a founder of Teach SDGs, and also the founder and executive director of Take Action Global. I'll talk about it a little more later. And she's the author of Teach Boldly. I encourage all of you to buy this book on Amazon. And this was a life changing book for me. I mean, I have learned so much from Teach Boldly. And there's some examples that I'm going to quote here also. And how we are going to teach SDGs in schools, ladies and gentlemen, I believe, and this is something I tell my teachers, this is something I tell my students: be part of something bigger than yourself. So, 3 A's of SDGs: advocacy, activism, and taking action. And campaigning is a very, I mean, it's a big part of advocacy. Just a second, please. Just a second. Just a second. I'll stop sharing and I'll come back to this. Just to give me a minute, please. Early morning household, lot of noise in the kitchen. I had to go and tell them to stop making noise. I'm sorry. I'm going to share my screen again. And I'll follow Sir's the book. Yeah, okay. Everybody can see my screen?
Yes, it is visible, ma'am.
Alright,
Please.
thank you so much. Now, there are some examples here of activism, like example, March of Our Lives. Climate Strike, we know about Greta Thunberg, how she started the entire movement. And then SDGs for Children, started by Ayush. Food Miles Matter. These are some examples from my personal life that I've followed, and I've taken this to my school as well. And then, uh, a valuable investment is value of time is a valuable investment. So we need to triangulate time with education and innovation, and use our own cruise control to take this forward in our schools. And also, some innovation that I have used in my school is Genius Hour. It is believed that out of the 100% time that the children are in school, 20% of time should be invested in something that is beyond classroom teaching. But that Genius Hour will also be a classroom teaching, but application of um, knowledge that the children learn in the class. So Genius Hour is again a very very big pedagogy. It's a popular pedagogy, and if you want, I can share some more resources on it. So this is one aspect is, and during this Genius Hour, the children get an opportunity to explore the solutions part of whatever innovations that they're doing in school, or whatever you want them to do, whatever problems you want. Like, so entrepreneurship can be one of them. Similarly, virtual exchange, find a partner online, a virtual partnership with schools around the world, and there are a lot of platforms for that. I'll show you some examples. Moonshot movements. Moonshot is something that was given by, I think it was Harry Truman or Nixon, who gave this thought of this moonshot, where they thought that we'll put a man on the moon. So these moonshot movements mean that think big. Don't limit yourself in finding solutions to that it's not possible. Think big, and it's going to land somewhere. And of course, as consumers, our problem in the world is today regarding how much, we, again, going back to the definition of sustainable development, meet the needs of the present generation without compromising the needs of the future generation. So be a conscious consumer, because Agenda 2030 is a collective responsibility. This is a dialogue that we need to sort of, like a stuck tape, remind everybody around us, not just in our schools or universities where we are, but also in our family, in our community. Because when we become conscious consumers, we would buy only what we need. There is a aspect of circular economy that comes over here: recycle, reuse, repurpose. And there's something that in the school that we've started is upcycling, where we hold a winter market where children bring in extra stuff from home. We also have a shop under one of the staircase where we whatever extra we have, like say I've got some t-shirts that I did not wear, they're brand new, or maybe I've worn it once, I will we donate it and we'll put it in that stand. So this is about fast fashion, which was also the theme of this year's Earth Day and World Environment Day, to reduce fast fashion or to remove fast fashion from our lives and to get into recycling or be a fashionista, or something like that. Then we've got accelerator programs from some edtech companies. So one, uh, as a collective responsibility to Agenda 2030, something that I really like is using technology for social good. So what we are doing today, this is also an example of using technology for social good, that we've come together on an early morning to discuss the importance of SDGs and how we can teach SDGs in school. So similarly, if you're using technology to for partnership, for sharing ideas, and or even to start a campaign, that all comes under the example of technology and innovation for social good. And then there are some edtech companies which run accelerator programs. Example: Bootstrap, Beta Trust, Free Freemium, Unicorn. These are some examples when they're much more than now. I mean, they're every day there's some other app that comes up. So this is something that can be taken up and explored. And what I believe is that what is good for the classroom is good for the world. So get into, some partnerships with non-profit organizations, NGOs, and there are some B corporations that are helping schools in establishing SDG projects and programs in the school. Talk to community. It's extremely important that we reach out to community. So form these hubs around you, especially hubs of learning in your district. So right now, I'm sure there are people not just from Kathmandu but from other places in Nepal also who've gathered here um, on this meeting, and maybe not from very far off corners, but even if say around Kathmandu, then you know that you've got the possibility of being the nodal point of contact and forming hubs of learning around you. And then these hubs of learning can come together once a month, maybe once a term, to discuss and have knowledge sharing, and maybe start some projects about community outreach and knowledge dissipation. So basically, advocacy and activism and taking action for Agenda 2030. Very simple things to do, but highly impactful. Now, sorry, I'm going very fast. So, taking action for social good in classrooms. I firmly believe, and this is something that is not just my thought, I've also learned from other resources, that all schools must teach Universal Declaration of Human Rights in their curriculum. And like there's a book by this lovely young girl named Ayushi Chopra. She's written two books, and one of them is Know Your Rights. So if you don't know rights, then you don't have any rights. So this is something that we need to teach our children right from the beginning, and we ourselves as well. So Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and it's not just for ourselves. It's not for the children personally. When you understand what human right is, then the children learn empathy. Then a poor man walking on the road, or a beggar on the road, which is like a big problem in our part of the world. We see a lot of people begging and asking for alms. And then we see them with an empathetic eye and not treat them as paria of the society. And well, you might question that begging is not good, and we should not be giving to the beggars. Yes, right, you're very right in your thinking like that. But the problem is that I'm talking about poverty, I'm talking about people who are marginalized section of society, and I'm also talking about these minorities. So that divisiveness in our culture, divisiveness in our society, where we've got these caste system. This actually has created a lot of divide in the society. So we've got racial discrimination, right? So we've got this white supremacy, which is like doing such a big round these days, and we've got big example of that in UK currently. What is the Gaza Palestine issue is also on human rights issue. So these kind of things, our children in our own country, when we have our children growing with a fair and balanced idea about global citizenship and basics of human rights, we have some hope that our world is going to be a better place. And each small city, town, district collectively contributes to that global peace, country peace, right? All right. Again, a very idealistic outlook, but then what we are teachers are, we are idealistic in our way of working. Sustainable development goals, again, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and SDGs and high quality project based learning. These are some examples of social good in the classroom. Design thinking and human centered designs are extremely, viable methods of engaging children in innovative thinking. And one of the projects that you can sign up right now currently is a climate action project, and this is starting on the 26th of September, if my memory doesn't fail me, and it's a free program. It connects, I'm one of those first climate action project facilitators, and later I became an ambassador for CAP with this project. And initially we had about 100 odd classrooms. It grew to some 500. Now there are more than 1 million classrooms that connect on climate action project each year. And it is also in the innovation thinking schools and lab schools. And here is an opportunity to 6 weeks of design thinking. The teachers don't have to do anything. Everything is prepared for them. They just need to sort of put a little bit of their own mind to personalize it. Otherwise, just once a week, 40 minutes, climate action project discussions in the school. And you have the opportunity of virtual connections, presenting with your partner schools, a group of schools, and things like that. So it's amazing. So, and then goals project comes in January. Then of course you've got ideation activities in the school, affinity mapping, journal mapping. Stickies, Padlets become free resources that you can use in your classrooms. And also, ladies and gentlemen, between purpose and perspective, there is a lot of work that can be done with the students. We are creators and creative problem solvers. So we can use digital tools in our classroom for leveraging SDGs and many, much more. So there are I've listed some free apps here, and I'm sure you also have a lot in your own uh, kitty of the apps that you use. Here are some of them that you can use to create programs in the school and then celebrate them on social media, so that it becomes a really good pedagogy. And then of course here's some inspiration where how I got into SDGs, and I would encourage all of you also to look into these: technology, pedagogy, and peace. They are three interlinked. As an educator, I really believe in them. So Koen Timers is the co-founder of Take Action Globals. He started the Climate Action Project. And there's also innovation lab schools where I used to teach. In the COVID, I taught online at Jane Goodall's Roots and Shoots School. So these are some opportunities for you to get involved in, like I said, be part of something bigger than yourself. And then there are some free edtech programs which are purpose driven. You can use these resources. World's largest lesson are free lesson plans prepared. You only need to download, check how you're going to implement it. Everything is given in that. Then there is empatico.org, which is a platform for you to connect for virtual partnerships. Rock Your World is another one of them. Global School Alliance is again a wonderful free program which connects classrooms or schools for partnership. And these are again amazing. Globally Empowered is another one of those platforms. If you're interested, please let me know. I'll send you the link to register for Globally Empowered, because it is free program, but then the organizer is a little selective about who comes in, because we want serious and committed individuals and schools. And what Globally Empowered does is that it will get together once a month. It organizes a student led. So it is about student agency, and it is the students who conduct. So there are schools who are given the opportunity to host the program, and then there are 4 or 5 schools who come and present. And there are of course speakers from different walks of life, which are public figures, and they help the students in some knowledge dissipation. So this is again, and there's another course that's coming which is called Ages of Globalization, which Professor Jeffrey Sarsh has created, Sark. And this again, if you're interested, please register your interest with Mr. Maniram, and I'll send you the link to get your schools to register for that. It's for free program for 14 years and above, and again an amazing program from Columbia University. And then these are again some examples of how you can take this forward. SDGs, one word every day, 100 days of sustainability, celebrate Mondays, let Mondays be one day where in the morning assembly, like, you're doing one SDG, or a class wise celebration of, or knowledge dissipation advocacy about a SDG, and like, it's up to you. Meatless Mondays is something that again is very, very close to our heart. We do it in our school. I encourage all the parent community, I mean the whole school community, to go vegetarian on Monday. So even one day makes a difference. And of course, big fan of student agency to empower student voices. I'll share some pictures with you of a program that my students, this is not me, nothing in this is from me, it is from my students who came. Two girls came to my office and said that, ma'am, we want to do something. I said, all right, what? So they came, they gave me a problem. We have a lot of single use plastic bottles in the school. Parents come in and children are buying, and there's so much of plastic that is being collected. So then they started this program. I said, what do you want to do about it? So they said that we'll collect them and then we'll make artifacts with them. So here are some pictures of how the children went around of, and then we celebrated it in the assembly. We launched it, and then these collection receptacle bins were put everywhere around the school. Of course, whenever you start a thing, it is never successful in the first go. Children face challenges in terms of the children and the parents. They were using it also as a dustbin. So end of the day, when they would collect and they would empty it, there would be chewing gum and tissue paper and half eaten pizza, things like that, juice bottles that were thrown in this. But then the children persevered and they went on to do, and this was selected also at the KHDA, that's in Dubai Innovation Fest. So yeah, children, you can see they are washing, and they would then clean and cut and then make things out of it. And this is something that's again in my current school. We have a gardening curriculum, and we do tree plantation regularly during climate action project. And this gardening curriculum is something that's really, really a very unique thing about our school. Here are some programs for you now. Climate Action Project, register your schools, register your classes individually. Amazing work. On Roads Climate Interactive, again, a free program. They are recruiting ambassadors, and but you need to complete courses on it. So again, it's a good professional development for you, and you get a certificate which is legit certificate for you as a climate action skilled climate action educator. Ages of globalization, I've also, the QR code will have this presentation also, so I'll just go over this looking at the paucity of time, in the interest of time. And so this change starts with you was the name that my students gave to their program. And I believe that the change starts with you, but it doesn't start until you do. So this is onus on everything. And here is something I thought I'll show off a little bit of my work. I was at the UNGA. This was a life-changing moment for me. My SDG work and my Model UN work has led me to this platform. And now round for question and answers. I'll just go over this. You can scan the QR code. And this is my, again, this correspondence and all that is in the presentation. So here is the QR code once again. You can scan it. And let me know once you are done, so that then I can move forward. I'll go back to the previous slide of question and answers. And what I'll do is, since I can't hear anyone, I will also send this presentation separately to Mr. Mani, so that he can give it to all of you, and then you can again have access to resources. So the one which is on green, these are some reading material. And on the other side, which is not in brackets, here are some lesson plans, and again, some more material for you to scan and to use in your classrooms. So here we are, and I'll stop sharing and I'll come back to the main.
Okay, just to ask one question to Abhilasha ji. Many people tend to think that this SDG is pretty much science related, topic, content. And of course, we have been working it is cross-cutting, cross-disciplinary, multidisciplinary sort of topic. So what is your suggestion as to how we can convince like language teachers and math teachers and other social studies? Social studies is okay. These teachers, they seem to be aloof in embracing this SDG. So are there any sort of strategies that you have applied, or can you just say something about these?
Thank you so much, Mr. Balchandra sir. Very good question. And I am a language teacher. I teach English, and I have incorporated and integrated teaching of SDGs in my lesson plans in a very big way. And I am very confident in saying that very successfully. So, what as a language teacher I did was I used a lot of my writing classes, integrating SDGs in the lessons. So what I did once, I took out, in fact, I use a lot of UN resources and world's largest lesson plan as well, to bring this learning into my lessons. So a lot of writing work, say it's on climate, it's on deforestation. So I pulled out resources on goal number 13 from the UN. There are some infographics. I got it to the class, gave them as a reading material to the children, and then asked them to synthesize that into writing a piece, an article on how global warming is affecting our lives. So it's science. It is cross curricular. You have science. You've got geography. So social science comes in, and your language be using a language of expression being used to synthesize all that knowledge, and the children also applying what they're learning in science in terms of deforestation, global warming. They're learning about acid rain, they're learning about pollution, and they're learning about soil erosion. All that knowledge that is in the back of their mind from other subject comes to the front of their brain and on the paper visibly when they discuss. And of course we do it in group setting. That is a group discussion first, collaboration, and then they together write an article on it. So one is that once so one part is I use a lot of writing work. Then there is, whenever the children are doing literature, and in literature all the stories that the children do, or the drama or the poem, all have a value or a message from the poet or the author. So then we discuss that what is it, what is the background, and how is it that this is connected to our real life at present. So that 100%, any story you take, there is some SDG or the other that can be connected. So for example, we had a small excerpt from the book My Walk to Freedom by Nelson Mandela. And this gave such a good opportunity to talk about the apartheid, which is about social injustice. Then it is about goal number 10, equal opportunities. So then goal number 1 and goal number 2, goal number 4, education, quality education. And this entire thing again can be connected very well to goal number 3, good health and well-being. Gender equality you'll find in a number of places that can be brought in. So, it's just up to a teacher to think. A little planning is required, of course, and you sit with the curriculum. And that's why we say education for sustainable development. How do you integrate that in your school curriculum? And it can be very easily done. It is not an add-on. It does not need to be a separate period to teach SDGs. It all can be seamlessly integrated into the curriculum in various subjects. Only thing is that the teachers need to scope out the curriculum and see that where all can I fit in. So if it is about gender equality, then the chapters that are being taught, you'll have social sciences and English doing it very nicely. So there are some topics which will go into science, some will go into coding. Now, just a word about coding over here. I love coding for the kids, and it's not just limited to teaching coding in the computer science period. So coding helps our children to become problem solvers. So it would not just be for some students who are good at computers. It should be given as an opportunity to everybody. So coding comes in a very simplistic form in grade 3, grade 4 in terms of decoding like the math problems. And then of course it multiplies in level of difficulty and sophistication in terms of coming into the computer science and doing software coding, right? So in that also, could you please share a few examples that can be implemented in a classroom setting? For example, Arena, is it specifically related to coding?
Yeah, could be. I think there are two more questions,
Okay,
although,
I'll
uh,
just put the chat over here.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
it could be any. Okay. So the thing is that, say, for example, my some of our students are now making a school mobile app, and these are amazing, just grade 5 students, and they have prepared an app where you can test the carbon dioxide or the oxygen quality, the air quality in the classrooms. Can you imagine that? So they just have to feed in something and it brings you that, and it's not very sophisticated, of course, it's a little raw, but then the kids are doing that, you know and then you name it, and they're just putting feed something in it, and that comes. So similarly, a problem like, say, there is this plastic pollution, and also they made, they do a lot of stuff. So just one few examples that come to my mind are that, with this plastic pollution in the marine environment, no, so they made something which goes and collects all this, brings it, and then makes it into some products. I'm sure there are already these kind of applications that are there, but the children thinking of it and doing it and coming together and putting these codes, that how it can be done. These are wonderful examples of engaging the children in the lessons. Similarly, in your school, every school must have a um, paper recycling unit. There's so much of paper that, even though we say it's a paper free school, like in my school also, everything is on software, but still we end up uh, having a lot of paper as waste. So that paper can be collected and made it into, can be recycled. Number two, composting, organic composting in school. Every school should have a garden. So what we do, like my example, I in Abu Dhabi, we teach these children who are, they are in an environment which is a problem of plenty. I call them the clickerati generation. Click of a button and they have everything available to them. And you go to the malls, you go to grocery stores, they're spoiled for choice. But, and I like children being grounded. So my focus is that each child in my school should be able to know gardening, grow your own vegetables, sustenance. And you should be able to know how to grow tomato, coriander, simplistic things. And also, when the children touch soil and they work with nature, empathy is something that they develop, integrity, care for the environment, and then it's collaboration because they're doing it as a class, so it's teamwork. And then it's so much satisfaction when you know that when you plant something, a seed, and that becomes a flower and a fruit. It's a whole different level of well-being. So these are few things that in the school. So what we do is our children bring in their organic waste from the home, and we collect it as soon as they come down from the bus, they first go to the dustbin, drop it, and all that is then composted. So children, these are I don't get involved in it. In fact, teachers now themselves have taken it up, and um, they're doing it in the school. So these are just very some simple examples. Your green audits in the school, water audit, energy audit. Okay. And I would also lead you to UNESCO Greening Education Partnership. They've got school audit framework, and they also have a climate education curriculum. These two are free documents to download from the UNESCO GEP. Please go over it, and you can run a school audit, green school audit, according to the framework. And you'll find a whole lot of resources over there. So I'll leave the floor for any more questions are there. I'm sorry, tend to go a little fast, and I carried away. You say SDGs, and I'm like, all, so anyone else? Sorry.
I think there is one question by Kavita Sharma Patel. Although all the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) should be met, which SDG do you feel is most urgent and why?
Good question, Kabita, because this is something that, we all feel that. Oh, just a second, please. We all feel that uh, all goals are important, but personally for me, quality education goal number 4. If there is education, there is so many goals uh, that get uh, that get impacted by that. Because if we have education, knowledge illuminates life, and it also dissipates darkness. So through education, there is we are going to get out of stereotypes, we are going to get out of so many individualistic prejudices that prevail in our society. And then education is empowering. People are able to a child, like what do you say, you teach you give man food he can feed for a day, but you teach a man to fish, he can feed his family for a lifetime. Things something like that. So for me, it's quality education, and especially goal uh, mission 4.7, nobody to be left behind. So inclusiveness in education. And then education is, of course, gender equality, because when people have these prejudices that are uh, released, and people get over their personal prejudice of different kinds, especially like say wherever female limitation is there for females. So once we also know, and our first prime minister, Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru, Chacha Nehru, said that if you educate the women of your country, they help in development. I mean, it's very extremely important to educate the women of the country. So if the women of the country, if a mother is the pivot of the house, and house is the smallest unit of society, so imagine if every house is eliminated. Can you imagine the kind of difference it will make to the society? So I'm going to home down to goal number 4, quality education. But again, all goals are important.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Another question is here. Would you please share a few specific example that can be implemented in your classroom setting?
Yeah, I think I answered that with the I was saying about the glassroom, the SDG projects in school in terms of audits, in terms of composting units, gardening, and in my school, and I share the gardening curriculum with Mr. Mani, and he can share it with all of you. I mean, this is something that I don't hold on to as a personal property. This can be shared with everyone. So when you have a gardening curriculum, gardening space as a space of learning. So you've got English classes that can come to the garden and write about what they are seeing. You've got science, math. Math has a lot of learning in terms of ratio, proportion, and I'm very bad at math, so examples don't come to my mind like that for math. But again, gardening space with counting, small children with little ones counting, the other ones when they go into proportion, and so many different ways. And then somebody asked me about math setting SDGs in math. There's a lot of calculation that goes in terms of measurement and architecture, green buildings, and I mean, my Neha Bhan in my school does a lot of math and SDGs. I'll get you specific examples from that. But these are, I mean, very nicely can be incorporated in the classes. I've got one question about what could be the competency of teachers to achieve SDGs. Your competency, number one, is your interest. The buy-in from you might yourself be very interested, but if your school leader does not see the vision, it's very difficult. I know teachers struggle with getting SDGs in the school. So getting your a school principal to first understand and get them to sign the leadership pledge on global schools program. Mr. Maniram can help with that because he himself is a GSP advocate. So all school leaders should sign a leader pledge with the global school program, which gives you the membership to the GSP, and then opens a whole lot of opportunity to become a advocate, get trained from a global school UN global school advocate team. They give you a big toolbox and a lot of resources. So that takes care of your knowledge. Competency is the skill that is required is for me it's very important. Interest, you should be interested in knowing and also want to make a change in this world. And rest is your skills of communication skills, your understanding of SDGs, and just a want to bring this understanding the curriculum and how you can integrate it in the curriculum. And please do not think of it as an add-on. It is very easy to integrate in the curriculum. You just need to see the curriculum, see the scope, and then integrate it together, scoping out where all it can be, fitted in, not as an add-on, but actually seamless integration in the curriculum.
Thank you, ma'am. And another question from Marlon from Philippines. I
Yeah.
think I want to request you to unmute yourself and ask the question, if possible. Uh, if not
How
that,
can learning about SDGs help students understand global issues and challenges? Very, very important question and very good question. What challenges might school face when incorporating SDGs into their education programs and how they can overcome them? Again, a very important question. So I'll take it one by one. Number one is global issues and challenges. Does it help? Number one is the issue of understanding their own role in this world. I'll start from there because we need to go from inside to outside. So first and foremost, understanding your own role, how your work and how your actions impact the world. So if I'm talking about um, all these nice things about saving, environment and saying no to plastic, but I myself use plastic bottles, I myself bring plastic from the market to my house, I'm not a very good example. I have to walk the talk and I have to practice what I preach. So first thing is to start with yourself, so the children understand their own role. And that's again reminds me of an example where somebody asked about what can we do in the school. So again is avoiding plastic is again a challenge you can take up in the school, where I tell in the morning assembly to the children that no plastic from outside should come to the house. So you carry your own bags for shopping. I mean, we all do that, but if you make it into a celebration in the school, it becomes a movement. So talk to your district, talk to the MLAs in the town to prohibit use of plastic in the in the country, in the district, and so on. Coming back to Marlon's question about importance. So global citizenship, so from yourself, from your inner self, then you move to the outer world. So global citizenship, again, very important. Children learn about the importance of quality education, why it is important. Then they also learn about what's plaguing around the world, what are the problems around the world. So if it is about zero hunger, so how can that be met? How can we eradicate poverty from this world? How can my action contribute to climate crisis? And then what is responsible consumerism? How is innovation helping infrastructure, right? And then quality life underwater, life above water. So these kind of, and peace and justful societies. What's happening in Palestine and Gaza? That's not a justful society. So now how can we control that and not this apartheid spread across the world? All of us living in the third world country, we're aspirants of the West. We all want to go to the West, we all want to enjoy the quality of life. But then what's happening in the UK right now makes you think about that. No, you're safe in your own country, because at least in your own country you are the king of your world. Then you don't have to go through that uh, real traumatizing experience of facing that racial discrimination, which is very dehumanizing, you know. So these kind of things. uh, yeah, Malan. Okay, so that was question number one. Your question number two was challenges. Oh my God, this is like opening up Pandora box, challenges, because we're all very excited and very interested, enthusiastic about bringing change into the world. But everybody is not there with you on the same podium. So you first and foremost, I found, like, I'm as a principal, I know I can sort of push it down to my team that we have to do this. But as a principal, I find it challenging as well, because if I don't have buy-in from my team, if my team does not understand that it is important to be taught, they don't find it, as it does not get work done. It is that it's only total pura. Then it is only that they're doing it because the principal is telling you to do. So it is about everybody together. So the challenge is, it comes in terms of balancing the curriculum. Everybody, and especially like Indian curriculum, I'm sure even Kathmandu schools curriculum is heavy, and it's very didactic. Teaching is very didactic. So the teachers find it very difficult to integrate see it as an important subject. It is not a subject to be taught. It is to be integrated into the curriculum. So that is the biggest challenge that we find. Then parents are a challenge. How to convince parents that it is important, it is for the future generation. We are only bothered about what we are doing currently. We are only about bothered with us and our tomorrow. We don't see that far ahead. Like I said, we borrow this earth from our children, not inherited from our ancestors, you know. So then how do you do that? Then we tackle that one thing at a time. Parent orientation, engage parent in these activities. Extremely important to have a parent council and an active parent council, and get the parents to organize these events. We have do a winter carnival. We do it with the with help of parent council. We do a lot of charity work in our school. So gratitude is our attitude. That is our tagline. We have a very successful program of gratitude in school, and we do a lot of charity work. Every occasion we find we have donations in, not cash, kind donation, and then we distribute it. We do it for the ancillary staff in school. We do it for drivers. We in fact this year, and I'm very proud of my teachers, for 8th of March, for World International Women's Day, uh, they came to me and said, we want to do something different. Generally we do it, like I as a leader, we'll have HR meeting and we'll do it for the teachers. This time we said, how about we do this for our ancillary female staff? So the teachers donated group wise items, and we made a nice kitty bag with oil, sugar, cosmetics, and self women care products. And we had a very nice celebration in the assembly. And we had then potluck, one dish party. All of us love. I firmly believe in a family that eats together stays together. So we have a lot of potlucks, one dish party where everyone brings one dish, things like that. So that way, the charity we do, engaging the parent council. So that way, constant communication. It can be tiring, but then the people who want to change the world are crazies, and crazies don't get tired. So we do that from engaging the entire community, school community, children, teachers, teachers to leaders, leaders to teachers, together. Okay, so if you are a teacher and you want to do it in school, take time with your principal, go with data. Don't just go, ma'am, I have this idea, sir, I have this idea, and let's do these things, and others are doing it and we don't want to be left behind. I would suggest go with data, go with documents, show a PowerPoint, take out formally take time and present, and then tell them that this is important and we should also join this movement. So, and then also engage with community members, get people from the society to come and speak to your children, and you engage. Like I did one program with the Road Transport Authority where my children prepared something, and we then asked for appointment, and our children presented it to the RTA. And again, super engaging, successful, and happiness and well-being. So all the well-being is not just about meditation. A lot of actions bring a lot of well-being in the school. I can go on. You just have to tell me.
So I think all questions may be addressed by our speaker.
And I like Maniram. I like what Arina is writing, that it seems that we have been doing it in our learning and teaching process, and now it has a name to know.
Yeah.
Exactly that. As a third world country, like we belong to the less developed nations. Conservation, environment protection, it is in our system. As nations, as a nation, we do it as part of a culture, and nobody has to tell us to do it because it is part of our culture. It's only that now, because of the crisis that we are in, we are all sort of now putting it as a celebration and also putting it as a policy. So yes, we are already doing it, and we should continue to do this. Thank you. Somebody had his hand up. I saw one hand coming up. Hari's writing, our initiatives need to target the promotion of SDGs as far as we can. For example, the Gita for Life campaign has a slogan among others. Let's promote sustainability for well-being of the world. Wonderful. Yes, wonderful. Thank you for that.
So I think if there are other questions or some queries about the SDGs implementation in our schools and particular the practices, so please raise some questions. We have a little more 5 10 minute more we can discuss and talk about that. If
It would be
not,
nice to hear,
yeah,
Maniranda, it would be nice to hear from teachers what they're doing in their own schools. I mean, we can share, have a sharing from others. I'm sure there are a lot of action happening in schools.
yeah, if we have some experience to implement these SDGs in our schools, we also can share some of the lines within this platform. So that our school is,
Very nice. Our school is a plastic-free zone. Wonderful, wonderful. CBSE has started this movement called anger-free zones. So this also something that interesting. You can take it into school where, of course, we do a lot of work on anti-bullying. But as teachers, we get very angry with our children a lot many times. So there can be places where you can anger-free zone. This is an anger-free zone. So no anger issues here. Things like that. It's interesting for the kids. Build student agency. Teachers, student, extremely important to build student agency. You can actually lessen your work. You can actually lessen your tiredness if you leave it on the kids. You get the children to do the work. You're a facilitator. You step away from the role of a teacher and you are the facilitator. You facilitate learning in the class. So you create these opportunities and you empower your students uh, to take that forward. Anybody has a radio program in school? Anybody's got podcast in the school? So get your students to give them space for school radio. I'm sure everybody's got newsletters in school, so you've got an editorial team that works with the chief editor, and you've got a school a class sorry a school newsletter. You can think of having a class newsletter. And Mr. Arjun's question, sorry, I didn't hear that. uh, Mr. Arjun, if you can, I didn't see your question. I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
here's a question that how can we
Measure.
measure that we are achieving SDGs goal?
Tough question, Mr. Arjun. Tough question. Sorry, I missed that. So there is a GM report. Uh, just recently, that GM report has been released about how far we it's measurement of the SDGs and its country profile, and it also says that in the world how far we are from achieving SDGs. So if you actually on a country index, if you want to measure, it's a tough call because we don't have those uh, measurement tools to see that how um, our contribution to that SDG. But what we can do is that we don't stop taking action for SDGs. So you need to see that what is important as a theme for that year, what you want to create as a USP for your school or your institution, your community, and keep on working in that area. So, if we say that as a school, I've contributed to, say, I'm saving plastic or I'm recycling paper and also water waste management. But how do I measure that in reference to my city limit, my country limit? That's a bit of a tough call. That the ministries have got that measurement index. I don't know how they do that. Even I don't know how they measure that. But what I understand is that each and every action is important, and we must continue to contribute to educate our children, our communities, school communities, and make continue to strive to make this world a better place. That's the best I can answer for that. Technical know-how, even I don't have how to measure the SDGs. How can we hand on together local communities? That's again a very important question. This is and also very important action. We have to engage with our community. So think of where all can we which all is these are places where we can engage. So one is school and waste management units. So their partnership from there in the school, the cartons or the waste, the physical waste, that is like, the paper waste and all that is collected, children take responsibility. They collect, they liaise with the organization, and they become members of this unit, where they physically see the recycling happening, right? Similarly, we've got partnership with restaurants. So you can send your children, and then of course to first forge partnership, then the restaurant can bring in themselves on a twice in a week basis their organic waste, and this goes into the composting pit in the school, and the children then prepare the compost. I mean, of course you'll require some more help with adults there, but then once the compost is made, then the children, you packet it, organic waste, and you sell it as, so entrepreneurship club becomes active in the school. And this can then, you can have liaison with some ministry of environment and conservation, and some malls where these pop-up kiosks can come up, and the children can, or you can have a carnival where these can be sold, and the children get engaged in that. And similarly, you can have a recycling unit of clothes. We do that in our school at every winter carnival, and we make good sale, and it's on charity, so it's not very expensive, like say for uh, and the children segregate, and we make it a point that nothing torn and nothing like really rubbish comes in. So good blankets, this and that, and there are people who come and collect, and there's always a need where people would and like to upcycle things. So I hope I've been able to answer your question, Arjun.
So now we are come to the end of the webinar today, and I hope our participants and then the eminent personalities learned something from um, our presenters today about the SDGs and its implementation in schools. And the resources also she provided from our QR scanners. And I hope I will share the presentation slide also, if possible, through your our School of Education's platform. So now I'd like to, if there are any not any curiosities and questions, now I'd like to give this time to our respected Sir Madan Sir to have the closing remarks. Thank you, sir. Now over to you, sir.
Okay. Maniram sir, am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, thank you. All right, so okay, we have a hand raised, John Cinco. Yes, please. Okay, I think it is mistakenly done. All right, so Ms. Abhilasha Singh, thank you so much for facilitating this webinar this morning. But we are from different part of the world. I think the platform is like a common for all of us. So definitely the time zone is different. So this moment, almost we have spent an hour of time talking about why SDGs are important in school and why the young learners are to be like they are supposed to be given the idea and knowledge about this SDG goals and other things, so that right from their early age they can understand these concepts, and they can like start working on themselves and start thinking about being global citizens. So thank you so much for giving us a kind of enlightenment this moment regarding this thing. So really, we have lots of thankful word for you. And also, this moment, we would like to appreciate all our participants from different part of the world for joining this wonderful webinar and make it one of the successful one, and having lots of ideas and from our facilitator, and even we could see that the chat box was almost like filled with so many comments and the sharing of different experiences. So thank you so much for all of you for joining this webinar and making it a successful one. And also from the Kathmandu University School of Education, the respected Dean, Professor Dr. Balchandra Luitel, for opening remarks and then sharing us few idea or few knowledge regarding sustainable development goals. So thank you so much who have joined us from different part of the world. So thank you, Ms. Abhilasha Singh, once again for accepting our request and facilitating the very crucial component, sustainable development goals, why it is important for the school and why it is to be done inside the school practices. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful time ahead. Thank you so much, everyone. Namaskar.
धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद हजुरलाई पनि धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद मलाई पनि एकदम मन पर्यो अनि आई होप हजुरहरूलाई आई मिन देयर वाज सम लर्निङ अनि अगाडि पनि जे पनि हजुरहरूलाई एनी टाइम रिक्वायरमेन्ट हुन्छ भने म हजुरहरूको सेवाको लागि हाजिर छु थ्याङ्क यू सो मच आई लभ आई मिन यु से एसडिजीज आई कम रनिङ
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a good time
Thank
ahead.
you, thank you, Mr. Maniram. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
the
thank
invitation
you,
this
thank you
morning.
for coming this,
Ajay.
accepting our invitation and sharing your incitement. So thank
All
you.
right. Have a lovely weekend ahead, everyone. And I don't know if हजुरहरूको summer vacation हुँदैछ अगाडि जब पनि स्कुल खुल्छ all the best for the academic year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Abhilasha ma'am, we will be sending you this e-certificate through email.
Thank you.
So thank you once again.
Thank you for this. This is a very, very nice and very kind gesture on your part. Thank you so much for the certificate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. So we may slowly start to leave this platform. Thank you for your presence.